The Ayrton Senna insignia has been removed from Williams' 2022 car, citing a desire to move forward and break free from the past. We'll tell you all about why they took this stuff and more. Not only that, but one of the greatest of the racing game has returned. So keep watching because we've got all the details for you. New design, insensitive or not. For the first time since Ayrton Senna's terrible death, Williams has discontinued tributes to him on their 2022 Formula One car. The team is now owned by U.S. private investment firm Dorilton Capital, and they've said that they wanted to move on, The Sun reports. The iconic Senna S logo has featured on every Williams F1 car since his death 28 years ago, since the three-time world champion was killed in an accident while driving a Williams vehicle at the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix. The team has had an homage to Senna on the nose of their cars. They wanted to have a new beginning with a new car. They mentioned how they included a dedicated area just to celebrate Ayrton, but had to now look towards the future. They didn't want the players to see the S all the time and serve as a constant reminder of what happened. With the slogan of "A New Beginning," Williams unveiled its car for the next season. The move is likely to upset the team's fans. However, Capito claims that they were dedicated to continuing to cooperate with the Senna Foundation, which was founded by Senna's sister, Vivian. Over the last 2 years, the Williams team has seen significant changes. Following the sale of the franchise to Dorilton Capital in September 2020, the Williams family relinquished control. Frank Williams, the team's founder, died in November of last year. Under the team's founder, Williams won 9 Constructors' Championships, 7 Drivers' titles, and 114 races. Although the team is driving its 2022 vehicle during a Silverstone shakedown on Tuesday afternoon, the Williams unveiling was just for its design. F1 driver hired bodyguards. After the tumultuous Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Formula One driver Nicholas Latifi disclosed on Tuesday that he hired security in London due to death threats. After his crash, which resulted in a late safety car, which led to Britain's Lewis Hamilton losing the World Championship, the Canadian, who races for Williams, faced a barrage of internet hate. Latifi, who had previously spoken out about the assault, said on Tuesday that it was so severe that he hired personal protection to accompany him to a Christmas event in London with his model girlfriend, Sandra Disawisek. The 26-year-old said on Tuesday's launch of the new Williams car of how you can never expect how people are going to react when they're upset, as they might take it very seriously and personally. He spoke about how it can just take a drunk fan with extreme opinions that can end badly. Latifi confessed about how when he was in London after the race, he had to take security with him when he went out with his girlfriend. He also said how you have to take threats seriously because you never know what can happen, and it's simply an unpleasant truth of the world we live in. He admits there were some death threats that crossed the line and probably made him feel unsafe enough to get a security detail. At the season-ending race in December, Hamilton was on track to win a record-breaking 8th World Championship when Latifi crashed into a wall with 5 laps left to go, causing the safety car to be deployed. When the race was restarted, Verstappen had enough time to pit for new tires, allowing him to pass Hamilton. Following the departure of George Russell to Mercedes, Latifi will be joined by Alexander Albon, a London-born Thai driver. In 2021, the British team finished 7th in the standings for the first time since founder Frank Williams passed away in November. Mercedes is back in the game. Silverstone, a former airport in leafy Northamptonshire, is exposed to the elements at the best of times. Mercedes, on the other hand, didn't let Storm Eunice, which stormed across the UK on Friday, deter them from revealing the W13, which was constructed to sweeping new requirements, and running the new Silver Arrow for the first time on track as part of a filming day. Mercedes are laser focused on making it a double for the 8th time in 9 years after the mixed emotions of Abu Dhabi, where the ecstasy of winning an 8th consecutive Constructors' Championship was tainted by a last lap defeat for Lewis Hamilton in the driver's title race. There's relatively little carryover from last year's cars to this year's due to the substantial modifications to the technical standards. We've seen a trend of very tightly packaged bodywork, as teams have brought out their interpretations of the regulations over the previous few weeks, and Mercedes are no exception. Mike Elliott, whose team shifted early focus to this year's car design after turning off the taps with their last major package at Silverstone, said attaining the correct aero profiles required a full internal repackaging. More about the car. This car, like many others, is likely to evolve swiftly. There were already noticeable differences between the team's early Friday digital renders and the car revealed at the launch and on track at Silverstone. According to Elliott, more evolutions will occur over the course of 3 days of running in Barcelona and a following test in Bahrain. So, we may not know the initial pecking order until the first race in Bahrain. Under the hood, of course, is a power unit, with Mercedes engine manager Hywel Thomas claiming that more sections of the PU have been altered for this year than any other season before 2014. Given the impact on packing, taking into account the new aero requirements has been a major problem. So they're going into testing with a lot of unknowns. Lewis Hamilton returns. For the first time since Abu Dhabi, Hamilton talked to the press and looked fantastic. He didn't dodge a question and was thorough in his responses. And while it's evident that the defeat still hurts, the setback has only served to fuel his desire to reclaim the title he's claimed in previous years. Hamilton seemed to be really excited to return, and he wanted to put his experience into his training. If you think what you saw at the end of last year was my best, wait until you see this year, the Mercedes driver had to say. For all of his competition, including his new teammate George Russell, a Mercedes Jr. who has been promoted to the works team after 3 very strong seasons with Williams, this is a terrifying prospect. Russell is regarded as a potential star in Formula One and the Silver Arrow's best hope in the post-Hamilton era. It will be fascinating to see how he performs in a World Championship team alongside the 7-time World Championship driver, widely regarded as the best ever. Hamilton, on the other hand, is ecstatic about the prospect. Russell will be eager to express himself in the team, but he'll also be aware that if he wants to work with the reigning world champions, he'll need to strike a balance. He recognizes the advantages of racing alongside one of the greats, and in a new era of regulations where Mercedes may not be the fastest, he is focused on collaborating with Hamilton rather than competing against him toward a common goal. New car driving into a new era. Mercedes has a history of getting the most out of their crew and providing a world championship caliber package year after year, even surviving a number of rule changes throughout the hybrid turbo era. So, based on their recent track record, they should have done one of the best jobs yet. For the time being, they're keeping their heads down and concentrating on the task at hand, learning this new machine as rapidly as possible. Starting with the shakedown at a windy Silverstone, then 3 days of running in Barcelona, then a 3-day test in Bahrain, it'll be an arms race, and Mercedes will be eager to show that their driver's championship loss to Red Bull wasn't the start of the end for their dominance in F1. F1 chief Ross Brawn sets alarm bells ringing for Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton. This season's F1 grid is anticipated to be shaken up by new regulations. Ross Brawn has cautioned Mercedes and Red Bull that the new restrictions introduced for the 2022 Formula One season may damage them the most. Mercedes has dominated Formula One in the hybrid era, with Lewis Hamilton adding 6 world championships to his single victory with McLaren earlier in his career. The adjustments had the greatest impact on Red Bull in 2014 as they struggled to stay up with the Silver Arrows. Teams have reacted differently to major changes in F1 regulations over the years. Ferrari began a downward spiral in 2009, from which they have yet to recover. After assisting Jenson Button to his first Formula One World Championship 13 years ago, Brawn knows how to take advantage of regulatory changes better than most. The new look cars for the 2022 season have already begun to be revealed to fans. The cars will have the same power unit as last year, but the aerodynamics have been entirely redesigned to facilitate closer racing. When following a driver in front, it's believed that the issue of dirty air caused by automobiles in front will be much more minimized, with downforce lowered dramatically. This week, drivers began their shakedown tests with several citing vision concerns due to the much larger 18-inch tires. Until the season's first race in Bahrain next month, little will be known about where each team sits in terms of pace. Mercedes and Red Bull are anticipated to be the top contenders once again, but Brawn feels that they will fall behind Ferrari and McLaren due to their close title race last year. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think of Williams' design change and Hamilton's return? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.